Preschoolers, although still egocentric, develop this ability to infer others' mental states when they begin forming a theory of mind. Preschoolers, typically identifying with their cultural group, conform to and enforce its moral norms. Emotions are our body's adaptive response. They support our survival. When we face challenges, emotions focus our attention and energize our actions. Our heart races, our pace quickens. All of our senses go on high alert. Receiving unexpected good news, we may find our eyes tearing up. We raise our hands triumphantly. We feel exuberance and a newfound confidence. Yet negative and prolonged emotions can harm our health. Do women have a greater sensitivity than men to nonverbal cues, as so many of us believe? After analyzing 125 studies, Judith Hall concluded that women generally do surpass men at reading people's emotional cues when given thin slices of behavior. The female advantage emerges early in development. Female infants, children, and adolescents have outperformed males in many studies. Individuals who have a deep sense of guilt are better at identifying the concerns and emotions of the people around them. I wonder why. Individuals who have a deep sense of guilt are better at identifying the concerns and emotions of the people around them. I wonder why. Check this out. Having siblings is proven to help with getting along well with peers. Emotional pain is remembered better than physical pain, which has a greater influence on your behavior. Emotional pain is remembered better than actual pain, which has a greater influence on your behavior. Emotional pain is remembered better than actual pain, which has a greater influence on your behavior. Emotional pain is remembered better than actual pain, which has a greater influence on your behavior. It is also found that staying optimistic about the future can powerfully shield you from mental and physical illness. Depression is often referred to as the product of thought. Imagination causes issues that don't exist. The average high school student now has the same level of anxiety as compared to the average psychiatric ward inmate in the early 1950s. Exercise slows the neurological deterioration in our brains, and increased physical exercise will delay our brain's aging by 10 years. Exercise slows the neurological deterioration in our brains, and increased physical exercise will delay our brain's aging by 10 years. A good morning or good night message has been shown to trigger feel-good chemicals in the brain. Feeling ignored creates a similar mental and brain reaction as a physical injury. Habits are made up of three components: a cue or signal that triggers an association or craving, the behavior or the action or routine, a reward, which reinforces the behavior and strengthens the association with the cue. Effective communication requires awareness and regulation of your own emotional behavioral expressions to send the right messages. It often feels easier to go along with the majority than it does to stand alone. In many circles, eccentricity is considered more interesting than normal. Having a positive mindset can help you recover more quickly from serious illness or injury. Researchers studied 447 people who were followed over 30 years. Their personalities was assessed, along with their physical and mental functioning. It turned out that pessimists had a lower quality of life on average. The personality trait of entitlement can lead to chronic disappointment. Entitlement is believing that you are better than others and deserve more than them. Unfortunately, people who are entitled often enter a spiral of habitual behavior that is toxic. From anger, they tend to lash out at others, blaming them. At the same time, they continue to tell themselves that they are special. People get nicer as they get older, in contrast to the stereotype of the grumpy senior. The fact may be a surprise to those who believe people never change. They do, even if only a little. The three main changes to personality that occur, on average, with age are that people get more conscious, more agreeable, and less neurotic. Fear of the unknown is the personality trait that underlies many anxiety disorders. Social anxiety, panic disorder, and the specific phobias all have fear of the unknown at their heart. Someone who is sensitive to uncertainty may spend a lot of time worrying about what may happen to them. For example, people with panic disorders are constantly worrying that they are going to panic. People read a surprising amount into our faces just from one glance. Men who have large noses, square jaws, and small eyes are apparently telling the world they prefer short-term relationships, research finds. Women with larger hips and wide eyes are sending the same short-term relationship signal, whether they like it or not. More than 700,000 people die by suicide each year, which is one person every 40 seconds. Suicide is a global phenomenon and occurs throughout the lifespan. Effective and evidence-based interventions can be implemented at population, subpopulation, and individual levels to prevent suicide and suicide attempts. There are indications that for each adult that died by suicide, there may have been more than 20 others attempting suicide. Having a preference for bitter taste is linked to psychopathy, narcissism, and everyday sadism. A fun fact about personality suggests that a predilection for tonic water or coffee, therefore, could indicate some psychopathic tendencies in a person's personality. In contrast, people who dislike bitter taste tend to be more agreeable, the researchers discovered. Today, many personality researchers support the five-factor theory of personality, which describes five broad personality dimensions that compose human personality: extroversion, agreeableness, consciousness, neuroticism, openness. An estimate of 9.1% of adults in the U.S. experience symptoms of at least one personality disorder. Researchers have identified a number of factors that may contribute to the onset of different personality disorders, such as obsessive compulsive disorder and borderline personality disorder. These factors include genetics, relationships with peers, high sensitivity, verbal abuse, childhood trauma. So learning how to be yourself is one thing. Learning how to be yourself amongst others is a brave thing. I said that. So learning how to be yourself is one thing. Learning how to be yourself amongst others is a brave thing. I said that. Most dreams relate to recent awake experiences. Dreams are often linked to real-life events from the past. Usually these are events or thoughts from 1 to 2 days before the dream. About 2/3 of dreams are mainly visual, with fewer that involve sounds, movement, taste, or smell. Color is only about in a third of all dreams. It has been said that when we are awake, we think in ideas, but when asleep, we think in pictures. Our brains are active throughout the night, but after we wake up, we often don't remember much about our dreams. Some attitudes are more important to us than others because they are more useful to us and thus have more impact on our daily lives. The importance of an attitude, as assessed by how quickly it comes to mind, is known as attitude strength. Attitude structure can be described in terms of three components. Affective component. This involves a person's feelings, emotions about the attitude object. For example, I'm scared of spiders. I'm scared of spiders. I'm actually scared of I'm scared of spiders. Behavioral or cognitive component. The way the attitude we have influences on how we act or behave. For example, I will avoid spiders and scream if I see one. Cognitive component. This involves a person's belief, knowledge about an attitude object. For example, I believe spiders are dangerous. Attitudes based on direct experiences are more strongly held and influence behavior more than attitudes formed indirectly. For example, through hearsay, reading, or watching television. An attitude is a relatively enduring organization of beliefs, feelings, and behavioral tendencies towards socially significant objects, groups, events, or symbols. The strength with which an attitude is held is often a good predictor of behavior. The stronger the attitude, the more likely it should affect behavior. Attitude strength involves importance, personal relevance, and knowledge. Dreams are a succession of sensations, emotions, ideas, and images that occur involuntarily in a person's mind during certain stages of sleep. Throughout cultures and time, opinions have varied and shifted about the meaning of dreams. It seems that people generally endorse the Freudian theory of dreams, which is that dreams reveal hidden emotions and desires. Other theories are that dreams help us in problem solving or memory formation, or that they occur simply due to random brain activation. Nightmares often happen after a traumatic life event, such as that leading to PTSD, but onset can occur after any life stressor. Worry appears to be the strongest predictor